What's going on, everyone? Michael here at 3D Print Everything, and today I'm going to talk about this Kobra 3 Max. So I've had this thing long enough, these things long enough, and that one long enough that I can talk about it. Ignore that part. Just because it's on it doesn't mean it came from it. But yeah, I haven't discussed this printer yet, and honestly, it's pretty decent. The only real issue I've ever had out of it is occasionally when you start the print, it might get its initial Z height wrong, and the nozzle will dig into the bed. So I had one print, you can actually see the remnants of it. So it did a full square around the whole thing there. You can kind of see it there, and it scuffed the bed. But it survived it, yeah, and the bed is still working fine even though it's completely scuffed. Generally what I like to do with printers like this is use the bed to its fullest, then flip it. So I plan on using this till I just can't get stuff to stick no more, then I'll flip it over and have a brand new bed. But otherwise, it's fairly quick. The nozzle is fairly simple to work on. I've had this one now for, I don't know if this will give me, I don't think I can get into the main screen to see how many print hours I have on it, but I know I've printed quite a bit with it now. At least, like, this is a 3-day print right here, 3.5 days, and I've already printed 3 of them, so this will be the 4th one. So this is a part of a speaker system for the shop here, and a speaker system we're going to offer for sale as well. And it's done great. And I've printed other things with it. The layer quality is pretty dang decent. I wouldn't say it's perfect by any means, but it's on par with Bamboo the majority of the time, and it otherwise sees some of the same issues of, like, if you print a really tall skinny thing, you're going to see some of the Z banding more often. What I call the skyscraper effect of that nozzle kind of pushing your print around as it's going up against it. But the maintenance has been easy. I just lubed the rails some, and we've got the dual Z. We got steel on steel as far as the wheels go, steel on steel for the X and Y axis, a decent belt. It does look like my belt is seeing just a little bit of wear, probably a nice little voice crack there because I'm literally bent over, but most likely that's from just one of these pulleys being slightly out of adjustment. Now, I have tried to, I've spent about 20 to maybe 60 seconds looking at, hey, could I adjust that? And I came to the determination, like, no, not really. For the price of these machines, I think they're like $450. It's like the best 420 millimeter printer you can get that's not enclosed, I would say. Definitely cheaper than like the T500 at, what is it, by 10 log, that's like $800 something dollars. You can just about get 2 of these guys. The screen is fairly nice, seems to work really well, doesn't lag out or give me problems. Like this one, when the Kobra 2 Max, when it's doing a really long print, and I need to adjust it, sometimes I'll tap that screen and it won't respond for like 20 or 30 seconds. The Kobra 2 Max, very similar technology as far as the rail system, the dual Z. The nozzle is a little different, and the way they belt the Z is one of the biggest differences. So this one has a dual Z belt, or a dual Y belt, dual Y belt, where this one is a single Y belt. Now I do believe this is a single motor. Let's see here. Yeah, so it's a single motor, and they just have that big old rod there. But I'd imagine that this is probably a more efficient use of electricity and leverage. And what is it? Oh, the only issue I did have one time was I noticed the bed was slightly loose. I took the print bed off, and there's some bolts down there that had worked themselves loose that hold the bed to the actual platform. I tightened that, it was good to go. So otherwise, this thing is fairly nice, and I do approve Oh, look, I can see it kind of moving a little bit. It looks like some of my cards came off of this because the platform it's on is not perfectly level. So I do shim it to make sure it's to get it as level as possible. I got a little shim underneath that one. Looks like they probably wiggled themselves loose. But yeah, so that just helps just a little bit with keeping it stable as far as vibrations and everything. But yeah, it's so far been a good printer. The only other thing that I would mention is if you let this thing fully run out of filament, it does have a good filament run out sensor on the inside. And look, that's probably one of the biggest upgrades. So this Kobra Max 2 has a filament run out sensor on the side, but these kind of suck. And this, yeah, you know, we 3D printed a little holder for the filament there over the stock one that was a little better. The setup that they do on the Kobra 3 Max is definitely better. But yeah, the filament runout sensor is on the inside here, and if you have the end of your filament a little bent like this, when you go to load more filament, it might give you an issue. And what I've had to do there is then take the whole front of it off, take the cooling fan, the part cooling fan off, and then you can access that and shove the filament back down in and restart the print that way, and it's otherwise worked. So anyways, Kobra 3 Max gets my stamp of approval, if that means anything to y'all. Do recommend it. So yeah, if you're interested, check them out. And you know, happy melting plastic, guys. Like, share, subscribe, all the cool stuff. I appreciate you watching these videos. Have a good day.